We Need Each Other is a podcast about the importance of human interaction. It provides reminders that we are not intended to live in isolation. Human beings need each other. The things about another that pisses you off and the things that take you over the moon are all opportunities to see through another's eyes, recognize their intrinsic value, and then look more deeply within ourselves to find the love that's always there. Here we are. We need each other. That is the name of this podcast. And this episode is because I need these people who I am going to be talking to today. We need each other because we don't live in the world in isolation. We do all need to operate together. So, I didn't ask for any bios for you to say what you want me to say about you, but we have on this episode of this podcast 3 children of mine. One that I gave birth to, 2 that I did not, but they are my children because I love them and I believe they love me and we are family together. So we're going to start with the elder, Jabari. You want to tell us a little bit about who you are? Jabari lives in New York.
Live in New York. Presently grew up in Chicago with Nika. We're siblings from the same mother. Musician, artist, creator, worked in the music industry, entertainment industry, I should just say, for the last 30 years and still pursuing that. And that's a brief. I could talk too long, so that's what I'm doing right now.
Nika.
I'm Nika. I am married for 22 years, 3 kids. Manager for Starbucks. About it.
Mm-hmm. Mother of 3 amazing kids. How old are they? Which it's going to blow my mind. How old are they now?
Khalid is 21 and in his 3rd year of college. Kamari is 14, started his 9th grade year of high school. And Sanaya is 11 and she's in the 6th grade.
Wow. It's too long since I've seen your faces. So
I know.
Like I said, today is my treat for me. And then here is Morgan, who I gave birth to. Tell us about you, Morgan.
I'm a mom, a television producer, I guess that's it. I don't know.
And there we have it. So
I think that's all I got.
There is the Palmer clan. That is the name of their father. I call them the Palmer clan. These are the 3 elders of the Palmer clan. And oh my God, you just have what it's doing to me to just, even though you only hear our voices, I'm looking at their faces right now. And this is just such a delight for me. So I guess I really kind of want to know where we are in the world. Nika, you raising children, and black boys with that. But you know what? Black girls, we forget how much at harm they are also. But how are all of you, each of you, how are you doing in the world that we're living in right now?
I think
it's hard being black and it's wonderful being black. Mm-hmm.
Yes. I think for us, the main thing is to communicate with our kids, and me and Kyoku, my husband, would actually really sit down and make sure how they're thinking and what they're feeling about everything, and making sure that they're talking and asking questions is our biggest thing. Because it's crazy, you know, like the conversations we have to have with them now are not the conversations so much that I had, you know.
Right.
Their ages. So I think communication is the biggest thing to make sure that they understand what's happening these days, and making sure that we're able to answer their questions the best we can. And we keep it pretty blunt around here, so I don't try to sugarcoat anything. Or if Naya's the biggest one, she'll ask like, why is this happening, or why is that happening? And you're like, okay, this is what it is. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is your conversation any different with Sanaya than it is with the boys at all?
No, not even a little bit.
Because they have to be equally concerned.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Naya asks questions and she's like, hey, what's happening with this? Or, you know, I heard this. Is this true? Or Yeah, she's the one that really, the boys don't really talk as much. You have to kind of like initiate the conversation with them. But Naya is like more vocal than anybody. She want to know.
And what city do you live in?
We are in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Chesapeake, Virginia. And so interesting that you're saying that the conversations that you have to have with your children are different from the conversations that you had, and you grew up in Chicago,
right?
The dangerous so-called city,
right?
South
side of Chicago, right?
South side of Chicago, right? What about you, Jabari? How are you doing through this whole process that we're going through as Black people?
I miss trying times, but I kind of saw this coming. Unfortunately, I'm the tinfoil revolutionary, I guess, of the Klan. So I saw a lot of this force. Actually, I said I was at SOB's, a famous club that hopefully remains open after this happens, ordeal happens in New York City. We were all there watching Obama win, the first one. And I said, this is all great and this is all an emotional high. I said, though, however, if he wins another one, especially this is great, but if he especially wins another one, white people in America are going to lose their mind. And it happened. And then, and also what I have to realize is Trump is just a symptom.
Is that, what's the word you use?
He's just a symptom of the illness.
A symptom.
Yeah. He's just a symptom. He's like diabetes. You can change your diet and fix that possibly.
Yeah,
but that's not an illness. The country has got a lot of sickness that troubling.
Very
on
true.
Many levels.
How are you doing, Morgan? You have a son.
I mean, as far as that goes, I'm fine. I feel like I already voiced all that on the other podcast of yours I was on. But I feel like recently it's me that I'm trying to heal and protect.
Talk about that.
I be wanting to fight everybody on social media. I just got to take social media breaks and stuff. I think it hit me again this week when one of the racial crimes was in the town that I grew up in. So that was like a lot, and then just so senseless. And I mean, a white guy just drove over these kids that were happy-go-lucky on their scooter and hit heavy on the gas and literally ran them over, and they died instantly. Black boys, and then one was in the hospital. There were 3 of them. So that hit different because obviously I knew Colorado is racist and Denver is racist, but it was just different. I'm like, I feel like at this point, people want to be the next story. Like, that's why there's all these Karens. Like, they're almost doing it to go viral because people have always been saying out-of-pocket stuff, but they're going so out-of-pocket where they almost make themselves look like they have some sort of mental disability. Like, that's how crazy they're going with it.
I think some of them do have mental disabilities, honestly.
But I'm very clear that some of them don't.
I would say 2 things. One, if you look at you look at the word "mad" I use, going to drive them mad, like a mad dog. You can't save a mad dog. You got to put the dog down. And one of the words of "mad" is to lose your mental state. That's one of the definitions, and that's where we're at. And also, there's just a spirit that is rolling through all of this. That's on a whole nother frequency. If we,
yeah. Talk about what you mean when you say
there's a lot of karmatic things going on, especially entering into 2020. Cycles are being reversed. There's a lot going on energetically in the, of course, just physical realm, but on the spiritual karmatic realm, there's a lot more heavier things I feel that's going on, which we were seeing through the weather, which we're seeing through people, everything in all sections. It's a reset right now.
It's a reset. And if we could stay conscious of the fact that it's a reset, we might have a different perspective about it. We might feel a little better about it, even though it's not easy to walk through.
Personally, I'm doing a lot of great things out of it, but there's definitely you can daily, because of social media, have PTSD like quickly. Like I saw 2 stories a day, and I was just like, let me go. I gotta clear that, because it was just spiral. You can watch story out. There's some people I had to unfollow because it's like a daily reel of bad stuff happening to black people. And I'm just like, yo, I know what's going on. It's been going on. I got beat up by police when I was a kid. So, but it's just too much. Sometimes it's just like, okay, I can't take it today. I can't. Right. I know. I'm sorry he got killed. I'm sorry. I can't take too much no more. Some days you just got to be like, yo. I don't own a TV either, so.
One of the things that I actually
when I go to the doctor's office
is how are you taking care of yourself? Because I've realized, I was interviewing somebody who's going to be on a podcast later, and she was saying, because I'm doing a lot of race work right now. I have a class that I put together that is specifically for white people. I have a webinar that I'm doing that has black panels with a lot of white people in the audience because they're getting educated while black people are healing. There's a lot of my focus is on race work, and it just is hard. It's really, really hard to live in it every day. And so she was asking me, how am I taking care of myself? So that's a question for the 3 of you. What are you doing to take care of yourselves in the middle of it? Nika, you have to have these conversations with your children. You have a wonderful, I have to say this about Nika. I have to say this before you talk. To me, I have said this for years. Your family is like the ideal, what a family should look like. I don't live in your household, but I know your spirit and your heart, and I've been in your household. And what you have between you and your husband and with your children is just an absolute beautiful thing. So, no, that's who Nika is. So how are you taking care of yourself?
I think, honestly, we're kind of taking care of each other, I will touch points on the social media thing. I find myself, it'll tick you off. Like, I'm like, okay, gotta unfollow you. Gotta get you off my page. Like, and shoot, I have some white people on my page that I have to do that too. And I feel like I got black people on my page too that I feel like I got to remove myself from as well. But social media will suck you in and it'll tick you off. So like Morgan said, I have to definitely take break from, certain things on social media and kind of like take myself away from there. But as far as at home, I think we kind of like do a really good job of not ignoring what's happening out there, but actually being, present for each other and actually like having conversations and talking daily and, simple things like, how was your day? Like, we don't always like come home and like, hey, let's talk about these black people and talk about what's happening in the world, because Keoki kind of like is not disengaged from it, but I can tell that it bothers him. Like certain things happen and he'd be like, man, I didn't realize that affected me like it did, but just keep on hearing about it. Or, like, he's like, man, that really bothered me. So when that happens, I'm like, hey, let's sit down and let's talk about it. Like, how you feeling? Like, what could I do? So we do that daily, like, but basically just actually sitting around and actually enjoying each other's company and actually being there, present, not just sitting next to each other.
Yeah, right. Which is what happens a lot. People sit next to each other. Right. That's beautiful. So that's how you're taking care of each other.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Morgan? How are you taking care of yourself? Morgan? Oh, okay. You're thinking.
Not going on Facebook. No, I said not going on Facebook. Facebook is a trash bag of a place. Because it's so much, it's just like there's so much going on in the world. We're about to have an election. Like, I feel like with social media, I can control it a little bit more. Like, I had to mute Sean King's page for a while, so I don't see it. I have to go to it. Because like, while I really like Sean King, his job for social media activism is he posts things nonstop. And so I can't have that just on my timeline. So like Jabari said, like, I've been deleting a lot of people so that I can kind of control what I see. or if I know them, I will just mute them. But I feel like we're fighting so many fights, and then was having a conversation recently just like on how unprotected Black women are, and like there's just so many levels to it, and I'm just... So my thing is, I've just been diving into work right now because I'm creating stuff that I have made and been a part of making. So that takes me out of that. And then I found that my days have become so busy that I haven't even had time to really look on social media. You know, I'll look at it in the morning or midday and then keep it moving. I don't have like the scrolling time anymore.
Good.
So,
Jabari, how are you taking care of yourself?
I've had to deal with a whole lot of health, mental, and issues over the last 10 years. So all this happening is like, I've already had a lot of tools in the cupboard, I guess, to handle some of this stuff, but it still doesn't change the fact that it can be draining. So I do meditation, and I'm doing I work out and grounding. I'm in the park with the trees. You know, I'm out there hugging trees and, you know,
yeah, I hear you.
Stuff like that. So, and watching your intake of what I'm eating. I mean, I'm pretty healthy right anyway, but right now I'm like doing just water and juice fast, basically. I mean, water and fruit. I'm sorry, liquids and fruit, I should say, because I'm drinking tea and water. But that's all I'm doing for like the last 4 days right now.
Is that and the reason you're doing that is because you made.
Well, I do that also, just every season. I do every season change, I do a fast, but it also just strengthens mental facility when you're doing a fast as well. So,
so you know, we've talked about what life is like living through what we're living through. We're living through some interesting times, but I want to know what you're doing for fun, because it's important that fun is a part of that too. Fun was always a part of our lives. It's an instrumental part of our lives. We can't let it go. Jamari, what are you doing for fun?
I have a couple friends I hang out with, like two really. One is a family. One of my, I can say like my brother died. My brother died like a year ago. We were so close. He was like a brother. And through him passing, I gained some new family members, and so. My sister Shayla and her husband Jason and their daughter. So I go over there sometimes to hang out, and they're on the same frequency as I am. Because some people I just can't be around right now. So, but other than that, I was gardening when the summer. You know, that's pretty much it. Workout. That's fun for me.
That's good. That's good. We got to do something. I don't think I'm doing enough of it. Nika, what you doing for fun?
I was saying before, the kids usually keep us really busy, but none of that is happening right now because of, you know, COVID and stuff. But I did go out of town. I went to Chicago last week and had like a girls' weekend. Didn't quite turn out exactly 100% how we thought it would, but it was still a bunch of fun. So we're doing that. Me and Kyoki have a trip planned in December. So,
where are you headed?
Cabo.
Oh, cool. Very good. So they'll let us in. That's the thing. Is like what countries will let us in? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. Yeah,
Mexico will. Costa Rica.
Yeah. You know, I'm still been checking it daily. Like, they letting us in or no? Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Exactly.
So we doing that in December, and so we still trying to do stuff despite everything that's going on. At least trying.
Yeah, I think it's important. What about you, Morgan? I know you're having fun with work, but other than work, what you doing for fun?
I don't know. You mean I try to get out and about like on the weekends and go to the beach and stuff, but actual fun I haven't had in a long time. I don't know.
But you went to a party, right?
Yeah, but I feel like my definition of fun is different. Like I need to be away. Can't. Fun rarely happens for me. We're in the city that I live in. Like it has to be, you know, like could have a good time, but actual fun is away.
An
And that could
escape.
be like when we go to Dallas, even like I got to be away.
Yeah, me too. I'm not doing enough for fun. I do, I'm having fun. I go to dinners and go to the beach and, that kind of thing, but I need to get away too. I think everybody just needs to get away. We're just feeling a little trapped these days. So, your hearts are good. Sound like you're all doing well. Yeah.
I think that's a day by day answering question.
Yeah.
Like depends on the day.
Yeah.
It's been interesting for me because people looking at people's posts, people have really shown you who they are.
Oh yeah.
And, yeah, you both said that at the same time. And it's a little disheartening in some ways. Like, for me, for instance, I went to an elementary school reunion a few years ago. I went to a Catholic elementary school in the suburbs of Chicago. And went to this reunion with these kids that I went to elementary school with. And they were talking about their families. And I was realizing how racist their families were. And then, but, it was all friendly. It's like, oh, my God, I haven't seen you for years. But then I recently, after the Republican National Convention, saw some of them like going, hey, Trump, and oh, my God, he's such a great president, and he's going to win again. And I'm like, I just never would have thought that those people felt that way,
See, I want to say something.
Go ahead.
So I went to a Catholic high school, Mount Carmel in Chicago, and we were probably maybe 3% black population. It was basically a white Irish school.
Yeah.
And we played sports all together, but, obviously the black section of sports pretty much carried over most of the thing. But what I realized, and I said this today, I think in a post, sort of, was that experience of growing up with those white boys during that time educated me in a whole nother way of how they think and how they operate. In a, very, I got a sample size, a sample portion to apply later in life. And then I'm in a group, and 20 years later now, almost 30 years now, but got into some high school Facebook group and started seeing comments. And I saw people, they were like surprised. I'm like, I wasn't surprised. I've traveled this whole country, pretty much been to maybe 40-something states, been on tours, been in real small little towns. Where y'all boys going? I've seen this country maybe in more than a lot of people have seen. So I'm not surprised by a lot of what's going on, unfortunately. I said it's been going on.
Yeah, it's been going on always.
Yeah.
Can it change? Are we in a change?
I mean, like I said on the panel the other day, on your panel, a lot of it starts within. Like, it's not even about all the other people. A lot of it starts within, because especially with, I again realized the separation of us. And again, like I said, the protection of black, like for me, it ain't even about Trump. It's like, what are we doing as the Trump. People all together? Because like even so many posts that I've seen, and Nika and I were talking about this the other day, like there's no protection of black women, period. You put a hard line because Kamala Harris doesn't, she's multiracial. So then all of a sudden that's a thing. Yes, she's fucked up in the past, but you're still not protecting a black woman. Like there's so many things. It's like we've got so many issues to work out within our own community that I don't even care about Trump. That ain't the problem.
No, I agree.
We got to realize how strong we are as a race, period, and work out some internal affairs before we can even put it on anybody else, because we still got a whole bag load of stuff to fix it within ourselves that we just put on Trump and everybody else. But I mean, we ain't doing no better as a culture.
The emotional blame game is draining.
It's
It's
draining.
exhausting.
Yeah. Would you say, Nika?
Very exhausting.
Very. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way, that no one protects the Black woman, Nika?
Yeah, me and Morgan were having this conversation the other day about Harris and how we felt. Everybody was like, "Oh, she's not Black. She says she Indian. She not this. She not that." And I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Why is this important?
I don't really care which race she claims this week or what she said she was last week. I don't care. Like, like it doesn't. That part doesn't matter to me. And like we said, like the whole Trump thing, I'm like, he's irrelevant. Like everything that's happening with him is irrelevant. I just feel like we just need to fix stuff ourselves, and we got to work together. We're so busy battling each other, and then we just drag all these other people in it, and we're like, hey, yeah, but Trump's doing this and Trump's doing that, and I'm like, yeah, but y'all fighting each other too, and we can't never stick together about nothing. They stick together.
They do stick together.
They stick together. Like I don't think they like Trump, but they back they backing him. Like, but we can't.
No, I think it's a whole bunch that like him.
I think there's some that don't either. I think there is a whole lot that do, but I've spoken to a whole lot that don't.
I know a whole bunch that don't too.
But they backing it. They waving them flags and saying I'm a Republican.
Right.
But
the question is, is their disdain for Blackness override the disdain for Trump? And my theory is no.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
I agree.
And this is why for me personally, I thought, okay, we got this BLM Arts and Craft exhibit for the summer, and then you put Kamala on the ticket. So what you have done, this is my opinion of it, and I'm a political science minor, and I dibble and dabble in all this because I have to pull out because I can go on and on with the politics. And the interweaving of racial, that is a thread that you pull long enough in America, the whole thing falls apart. But the construct of Trump and Blackness, I think you threw Kamala in, and then the BML Arts and Craft Project, and you got a bunch of people who were maybe on the fence who said, I'm going with Trump. This is too much. I just posted recently, there was a white couple on the New York ferry who didn't have their mask on. And people of all races would tell them they didn't have their mask on. And their argument was, if we were black, we would have told us to put our mask on. See, this is all because of that BLM and blah, blah, blah. But there's a whole...
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, how does that relate? I'm sorry.
It doesn't relate. But you have...
It doesn't relate, yeah.
It doesn't relate, but you have a contingency of white people who feel like they're being discriminated against now.
Yep.
And that that Black Lives Matter and all this stuff about the police. So they feel like, yo, I'm on the fence. So those are the people. Some of those mainly being Obama voters who are like, okay, I'm tired. This is too much blackness for me.
Too much blackness.
And now y'all got this colored girl on the ticket with him. I'm going with Trump. I'm sorry. And I think that's a factor that a lot of people on the coast don't realize. I thought Trump had a real good shot because I was in Toledo, I was in Detroit, I was in Cleveland like a month before the election. And I said, this boy might win. Because I was in the heartland. On the coast, we can get all stuck in the coast vibe. That's not the flyover states. That's where the election happens.
Win the last election.
That's where the election happens. Yeah. It ain't had nothing to do with New York and LA, and that, I mean, that's irrelevant. But that's what gets the media attention. But the core of it is Michigan. What's going to happen with them? And all these states that are fringe, and those fringe voters, I don't know. I think there's too much blackness.
Too much blackness. So if we dismiss the idea of Trump being relevant, because it doesn't matter if Joe Biden's the president, it doesn't matter. Black people need to take care of each other. It doesn't matter who the president is. that we've got to be more mindful of each other and support and care for each other. Do you agree with that? And if so, how do we demonstrate that? How do we do that?
Somebody else go first, because I can go on a long diatribe.
No,
Morgan,
you go
I know
ahead.
you-
Yeah.
I mean, when I think just simple things is like, even if it's a stranger, if it's a Black person, I look them in their eyes and I try to smile or tell them I love them, or, something, be safe, something, just like simple actions, because then that can shift like a person's whole day. Whereas white people nowadays, I'm like, please don't look at me, please don't talk to me, please don't do anything.
You're like,
Yeah, I just don't have time.
I don't see you.
Yeah, I don't have time for it. But I mean, like, I want to, you and I were talking about doing this whole town hall thing, because I feel like we need to get together as a people and figure out all of your rights when you get pulled over. Because there was an IG post a couple months ago where the cops couldn't get this dude for nothing because he read them their right, everything. To the point where they got irritated because they were like, they were almost dumbfounded. Yeah, they were dumbfounded, like speechless, because they were trying to say he was trespassing or something. It wasn't anything crazy. But I mean, he did all the laws like the back of his hand, and they had to walk away.
He was a Moor. He knew his law.
He knew his law. So that's important. Our gun rights are important. Get your gun license. Like, where are the black banks? Like, you got to form community within our own community so you can create, if anything, that emotional shield, because you know your stuff. Right. And you got a community of people behind you.
Right.
And then, like, you are what you think of. So just be around more people that you like and enjoy and that are like-minded, whether they're all black or not. Like, decrease your circle. It ain't everybody your friend. It ain't your job to understand all the people that you knew 25 years ago. Like, that's why I say Facebook is trash. I block all them. Because the same people that praised you one day will hate you the next, whether it's you directly or what your whole existence stands for. I mean, they all, the veil is constantly being removed. Decrease your circle. You probably, all of us, real life, have about 5 friends tops. Real life friends.
Exactly. Yeah.
You don't have thousands of friends.
Exactly.
If that. Right.
Anybody else want to weigh in on how do we support and take care of each other as Black people?
All the things Morgan said, as well as I feel like we need to forge. There's no way we're getting all of Black America on the same page anytime.
No.
That's not going to happen.
Never.
I don't think it ever will happen. I mean, it's to go even deeper. It's going tribal, and there's different things and sections that everybody in Africa don't get along just because they're Black.
Right, exactly.
So it ain't gonna happen here either. But we get all thrown in the pot of Black in America. So that's a whole nother mix of conversations as well. But I think what we can do is find our small little pockets. If you get 2 people or 3 people, and then y'all start building, and then you can create. You have to create wealth in numbers. This is how every other community does it.
Exactly.
I have tons of Jewish friends and friends. Excuse me, and they just know how to build it. They don't all like each other either. I spent a lot of time working with Jews, and I see them. This is one guy I work with, does rug cleaning, and I see him get out the car. They'll holler and yell at each other, and he get back in the car and like, I can't stand that dude. But the envelopes exchange hands. They keep doing business. They don't have to be friends. We don't have to party together. We can do business. We tolerate each other and keep it moving.
And keep it moving.
And keep it moving.
But I think the problem I think we have, it's a blessing and a curse of us being an emotional people. It produces lots of great art and lots of great inventions and all these other things because that's an emotional thing. But when it comes to tactics and warfare, the emotional side is no good.
Yeah.
And it requires diligence and focus, and those are some other habits that in this country we have lost as well that we need to focus on, implement. But I think it's just about us as forging small groups within family and then within your tribe of outside family as well. I
Nika?
have network with people too, so I work with. So I got like a tribe of cats, and all of us are kind of doing different things and planning different things. So
I think the small circle definitely starts there because, like we said before, everybody, you don't have to be friends with everybody. I don't like a lot of people.
Yeah, right. And now less and less.
It just gets smaller and smaller.
Right.
Yep, don't like them.
Yeah.
Just moving, don't like their energy. That's a no go for me. Yeah. So I think the big thing though is to surround yourself with people who are doing positive things, who bring good energy to you. Like you can think that you're friends with somebody and get around them and be like, not quite feeling that. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with saying, yeah, I don't really want to fool with them. Doesn't mean that I don't like you no more. It just means that I just don't need you around me.
Yeah, exactly.
Because there's nothing wrong with the word. There's nothing wrong with the word acquaintance or I know of them.
We're not whatever. Friends.
There's a story I will never forget about our niece Sanaya. She was probably 8 or 9 in gymnastics. I was on the phone with Nika. And someone had told Naya that she was, oh my God, you're so pretty. You've got beautiful eyes. And Naya just stood there looking at them. And Nika was like, Naya, do you hear her? And she was like, uh-huh. And she was like, I said thank you. Like, what
do you want me to do?
Say?
Right. Exactly.
And it's very much that, like, sometimes you know who's worth your energy, time, and conversation. And who's not. And sometimes you have to realize in life, too, that people that may have been worth your energy, time, and conversation 10 years ago no longer have the right to have a seat at your table. And that's right. Okay. It's exactly no ill will, right. Whether it's you on their table or them in yours. Like, and that's where it goes to the emotional piece, Jabari. It's like we're so emotional that it stops us from building what we could potentially build because we caught up in like, oh, well, they looked at me this way, or they did this, and now I'm not going to go in business with them. Well, you should be in business with them because you guys would be great in business, and then you guys can give each other the finger and walk away and make this money. Right. It's too emotional. Your circle can be your circle, but you got to be open to networking and building with all sorts of people because we all have a little piece of what we need. But like, even when I first had the town hall idea, it was like, one of the people there was like, oh, I thought about something similar. So I don't know. This is not about that. Like, let's all come together, bring all of our tables to the big table and figure out what we can really do. It's not about like stealing an idea like that. No, this is a town hall. That's it. But we get so caught up in that all the time. Oh, they're doing this like me, or like, I don't want to do this because so-and-so's already doing it. No one can do anything that way that you do it. And that mindset is what stops us from so many things.
Why do you think we have that mindset? Go ahead, Nika. You were going to say something.
A lot of people don't do things because they intentionally and genuinely want to do it. There's people out there who do things because they want recognition. They say, look where I did. They're not doing it because it's from the heart and this is, something that I want to put out there and this is something that I want to do. They're just doing it because of that. Hey, I want to post it on Facebook and I want to get some likes and everybody say, hey, you did something great. You did a great job. But when you're moving, you can move in silence. You don't need to move and for everybody to say, oh, great job. Like, you did it. Like, if I'm doing something good, I'm doing something good. I don't need a whole crowd to tell me a pat on the back and say, hey, you did it.
That's why for years, all my like big efforts, I didn't say nothing about. And then one day I posted something. They're like, some of my quote unquote friends were like, wait, you've won 3 NAACP awards? Uh-huh. Well, why didn't you tell me? Why? So you can hate on me behind my back? Like, I don't need to tell you. I'm doing the work to get this bread. That's all I care about. Like, I don't care about announcing every win that I have. I'm good.
Well, I think the major point that you made is that it's not about reaching everybody. It's about reaching what is your circle. And then your circle buoys each other up, and then that has a ripple effect because they have somebody else in another circle, or they're touching a life over here somewhere, and it does have an effect of teaching us how to be of support of each other and teaching us how to really care about each other and what we're doing. And the point about social media, it's one of the things that, it's like I have to be on Instagram, but I get very annoyed by Instagram because, if you look at the depth of a person, you realize there isn't any there, but they got all these people following them and they're not really saying anything unique. They're not giving anything really beneficial. It's just that they've learned how to get likes, and
that's what some of them are only out there to do, is to get a like and get a heart on their Instagram story. They say, "Oh, that was so good."
They're right.
I kind of changed my logarithm on mine where I only see kind of like what I want to see from people that are sending positive stuff pretty much on my feed. Yeah, I kind of filtered a lot of that out for Facebook's a little bit more annoying, but Instagram I can control a little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Facebook, it'll just go all up and down the line of people getting on your nerves. I'm like, mute you for 30 days. You're out of here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I look at posts and I just have to back up and say, I can't jump in that. I just can't. I'm not expressing anything about what I feel. I just don't want to hear what you have to say anymore.
What I found, though, on Instagram, me and Kyoki talk about it all the time, where we have this one specific friend. And the stuff that she posts, I used to comment, and we can go word for word. And I'm like, you know what? This is like such a waste of my time, and I can't.
It's a waste of time.
I'm like, I can't get this back. Like, I'm wasting time commenting on any of her posts. Like, they drive me nuts. So she's gone. So now, like, if she posts something, Khalid's like, "Hey, did you see?" I'm like, "Nope," because she's not on my.
Didn't see it.
Nope, because I can't. I said because I'd be ready to drive around her house.
Right, that part.
Catch her up out that house, yeah. we go go back old Chicago style. I'm gonna snatch her right on now.
Old school. Right.
I said, no, she gotta go. She gotta go. Nope, she's out of here.
Yeah.
I've created a lot of dialogue with some of my posts, so I've actually helped some people, and I've had people end up hitting me up about a lot of stuff that I've posted because I just try to drop certain stuff, but sometimes I be trolling too, though. So, and I get actually that's one area I have fun because sometimes I get a kick out of the stuff I'm posting because I just know it's going to hit some people's nerves. So I'm over here cracking up. So
you're like, oh, they warm, yeah.
I was like, you're not ready for this one. So but it's usually knowledge based of stuff though. But I know sometimes it can hit some emotional nerves, and that's my whole point, to make you think. Because
I love that's how you're having fun.
Yeah, I'm totally trolling sometimes online. Yeah, intellectually trolling.
30 days.
Intellectually trolling, but I'm trying to put some, make you think. Plus, I have a dry sense of humor too, so sometimes if you don't know me, you might not get the joke.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it's been so good for me to just see your faces because you are my family. This family of mine that I did not give birth to. I gave birth to two of you, Carmen, who's not here. And then we have Ariel and David, and you are my children, and your father thought of you that way as my children too, and I know that you have felt of me as a mother, and it was important to me to see your faces because I haven't seen your faces in a long time, and to feel this sense of family with you, and knowing that family is beyond blood. Because even at Jamari, in your conversation, you were talking about, well, this person is my brother, but we're not born of the same parents, but they're my brother. And an understanding that we have to look at each other as family no matter what. And sometimes people born of the same parents, fall apart, don't feel like family. So, we have to really identify what family really means and love each other that way because we need each other. We need each other. I needed to see your faces. I need to have you make me laugh and to see your smiles and to let you know how much I love you forever and ever and ever and ever. But we will see each other physically together again.
Yeah.
Before long. We need to work this out.
We need to work it out.
Way too long.
So it's been so amazing to see your faces and to be able to spend time with you and to laugh with you and to be family together. So I want to thank you, and I will see you soon.
Okay.
Thank you. We had fun. Love you.
Love you.
Love you.
Love you too. Bye.